Good morning and welcome to Morning Java, sponsored by our friends and good partners at the Get-Go Cafe and Market. You know, Taylor, I've never been to Get-Go. We got to be honest. I don't live in the Pittsburgh area. I've never seen. What do they do that's so special that we always talk about?
Yeah, it is a gas station, but the food, it's just like normal. It's better than fast food, and like it's like the variety, the quality is very good. You can get like salads, wraps, healthy stuff, but then they also have like uh chicken tenders and like fried appetizers. So like there's something for everyone. And right now, um, if you don't want to go inside because of the whole global pandemic thing, they're doing curbside pickup. You order on like your Giant Eagle app, and they just bring it out to you, which is super convenient.
Which is awesome. And, we're talking about convenience and we're talking about stuff changing and the pandemic. And there's something that's new in the hockey world that I don't feel like has gotten a lot of discussion. And that is the fact that the NHL might be permitting their players to return to the Olympics. Am I right? Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, so they skipped the 2018 Olympics in Pyeongchang because, um, I mean, the owners didn't want to send their players to the Olympics before. Uh, Gary Bettman, the commissioner, said it was like a disruption to the season, and then of course they they don't want to send a guy over to the Olympics, have him get hurt, and then for what? They don't get anything out of that. But yeah, the new CBA, which they're voting on, we should get the results by Friday. It includes a provision that they can go to the 2022 Olympics in Beijing and 2026, I think that's Italy, which is huge because the NHL, they really didn't want to send players back. I mean, I covered the All-Star game in St. Louis, and that was something that Bettman was asked a lot about in the press conference, and he reiterated the same thing. He's like, it's a disruption to the season. He didn't really see benefit in sending players, but yeah, I mean, it's huge.
I know representing your country and all, but there's a part of me that also wonders if players see it as a potential injury risk and could derail an entire season. I find it very strange because if you root for one team and you follow that team and all of a sudden you're rooting against, let's say you're rooting for your country. So the last time that we had Olympics, TJ Oshie is seemingly doing 50 penalty shots to finish out a game for the United States, and Sidney Crosby scoring the golden goal. I mean, it's really weird. Do you like NHL being in the Olympics, or do you not care either way?
I do, because you look back at what they did in 2018, I thought that was interesting. So the you saw like more of the smaller countries do well. I mean, Russia won. Well, I mean, not the Olympic athletes from Russia, because remember they couldn't play.
Right, exactly.
They won, but then like you saw Germany. I think Germany won silver, which is, I mean, it's cool to see that because they wouldn't probably medal otherwise. But I think if you watch the Olympics, you want to see the best of the best, and especially looking at the next at least one, maybe two. It's probably the only time we're ever going to see Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid together on the same team with Team Canada, because I mean, you figure to have them ever play together in like the World Championships, they would both teams would have to be out of the playoffs early, which it's probably not going to happen in the next 4 years.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's really cool, regardless if you're American or Canadian. I think it's awesome to be able to see that. And then if you are, pulling for the Americans, they haven't had the greatest last couple Olympics, and I think they have a pretty good shot at doing well. 2022, maybe, depending on who's in it. I mean, like the Kachuk brothers, there are a lot of like good young Americans coming up. So I think whoever you pull for, it's good.
So to put a bow on this, it all hinges on the players and the owners coming to terms on Friday, reportedly.
Yeah. So there were 3 votes that have to take place. The NHLPA executive board, they already passed it. And then it goes to a full NHLPA membership vote. So all players, and all they need there is a simple majority. Wednesday is when the voting opened up for them, and it runs for 48 hours. So yeah, Friday. The Board of Governors, we're not totally sure when they're voting yet, but it'll be within a week that we'll know for sure.
That's a lot of hoops to jump through. But anyways, we're waiting. We'll see. Olympics. I don't know. All right, Taylor, this is right in your wheelhouse. I know that you love minor league hockey. But before I ask you some questions, I have to show off these threads here that I'm wearing. This sweater, that is a Wheeling Thunderbird jersey. Now, I am from Wheeling, West Virginia. People that have just started to follow the site are finding that out. And I was a season ticket holder to the Wheeling Thunderbirds. This is before they were even associated with the Pittsburgh Penguins. And I've always thought it's really cool that DK Pittsburgh Sports has a lot of minor league hockey stuff, and now the Wheeling Nailers, which they're not the same, but it is the same. What got you involved? Like, you love minor league hockey. Like, what got you into minor league hockey?
I think it would really be the 2012-13 NHL lockout. Because, there wasn't hockey. I remember, I was living in Baltimore at the time. I was a freshman in college. Yeah, freshman in college. And my friend and I would drive from Baltimore to Wilkes-Barre just to see games because, there wasn't NHL games to watch. And you can't watch the AHL games on TV. They're streaming. But anyway, so we would drive to games. We would go to games in Hershey and see Wilkes-Barre there. So I think it would really be that. And then Wilkes-Barre had a really good run that year. They went down 0-3 in the second round, so on the brink of elimination, and then they won the next 4 straight to become the first team in AHL history to come back from an 0-3 series deficit and win Game 7 on the road. So that was just really exciting, and then I just kind of followed them ever since. And then when I got here, we had a little bit of Wilkes-Barre coverage. I got put on Wilkes-Barre coverage. I wasn't trying to get on it, but yeah, I got put on Wilkes-Barre, and then I just asked, and I said, can I do Wheeling too? So I just wanted to cover the whole system, and it's fun.
What is the state, or I should say, what is the state of minor league hockey? Because when I grew up and I was sitting in section 309 at West Banco Arena, it wasn't West Banco Arena at the time, and I was watching the ECHL, which still exists, correct?
Mm-hmm.
It is certainly not an East Coast hockey league, though, anymore. A lot of the teams that I grew up with, these big rivalries with Wheeling, whether it was the Columbus Chill, the Toledo Storm, the Johnstown Chiefs, Hampton Roads Admirals, I could go on and name off all. They were all relevant to the East Coast. Is it still a healthy organization, the ECHL? I know they've expanded. They've got teams all over, but there's been talk for a long time that this league in its entirety might not be around too much longer. Is that true, or is it thriving now?
I would say, it's thriving. They have 31 teams. Each team has an affiliate, but back to it. So the East Coast Hockey League, it actually doesn't stand for that anymore. I think it doesn't stand for anything technically. It's literally not called the East Coast Hockey League. It's only called the ECHL, and it just doesn't stand for anything. I don't know. That might have been
so silly.
Yeah. Well, and because a couple years ago they absorbed the Central Hockey League, which is how a lot of those teams out west came in, the Allen Americans, those Texas teams, how they came into the league. You still see teams relocating, folding every now and then. But it's been the same markets for a while now, and I don't know, Alaska folded recently, but that's because they have their own issues, traveling to Alaska. But Wheeling specifically, among the worst attendance in the league. So, but they've been bad for a couple of years. They have a new head coach who looks really promising, Mark French. So I think Wheeling, it's going to turn around there. Fans going to have something to actually cheer for.
I know that my family still is in Wheeling, and they go to games every now and then, and they say that it's barely, the attendance is low. They've made some huge renovations to the arena. It's actually pretty nice now.
Oh, it's beautiful,
when you go back, but I was an usher for hockey games when I was in high school in Wheeling, and it used to be a tremendous event, and it was a lot of fun. Minor league hockey was the best. You were guaranteed at least 3 fights a game. There was typically high scoring because defense was awful. And these players became a part of the community. I got to know several of the players that I grew up watching on the ice because they stayed in Wheeling and they became a part of the community. I'm not sure if it still is that way, especially with the chain going to Pittsburgh. But minor league, if you've never seen minor league hockey, go out of your way to just take in a few games. It's certainly not the NHL, but it's entertaining. That is for sure.
Yeah, well, what you were saying about guys being in the community, it is still like that in Wheeling for sure, which is not the case in every other market. But I mean, Wheeling definitely very strong. A guy like Derek Army, who was with the team for years, he was on the 16 team that went to the Kelly Cup finals. I mean, some of these guys, they can't get them to leave. Like Derek Army just came back as an assistant coach. And I just listened, he did a podcast with Wheeling about how that's just like the atmosphere in Wheeling and how it is very close-knit, and you really do get to know the fans. Like what you were saying, yeah, I mean, you just got to follow the Nailers. It's a good, you get to know guys like that. And then, guys who are like the future, prospects before they get called up to Wilkes-Barre and then the NHL.
And if you're in the Pittsburgh area, it's not a far drive down to Wheeling. Tickets are always available. But my gosh, when I was a kid, they would go to a bank. They would have 2 players in a bank signing autographs. There would be lines out the door. I hope that continues. I hope it becomes more popular. Minor league hockey, check it out. All right, last topic here, Taylor. I have my Thunderbird jersey on, as I mentioned in the last segment. Jerseys. I love jerseys. I love football jerseys. I love baseball jerseys. I love hockey jerseys, or sweaters, sorry. Let's talk hockey. What is your favorite team sweater jersey right now in the NHL? Not just the Penguins, but in the NHL. Is there a team that you're like, what? I love those jerseys. They're awesome.
Right now, the Arizona Coyotes, so they recently brought back their old 90s, they're called the Kachina jerseys, as alternates. And then do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I feel like on Twitter they're always asking fans like which ones they like. It's like, why are you asking them? Make up your own mind. Yeah,
they're like kind of so ugly that they're great. Like the weird logo and like just like it's like a very busy pattern and like the colors, it's great. And they announced that they're going to be wearing it for all their home games, or where they're designated as their own team for the rest of the season. So I think we're really seeing a lot of teams bring back like throwbacks like that, which, I mean, that's always my favorite.
When the Anaheim Ducks were like, yeah, we're going to throw it back to the Mighty Ducks. And I'm like, is that really throwing it back? That's like me saying I'm going to throw it back to just when I was a kid. Like, that's not really throwing it back too much. I've always liked the classic uniforms, and that goes across the board. The classic jerseys that haven't changed that much. I've always loved the Red Wings for some reason. It's just the wheel with the wing. There's something crazy. Maybe it was just Gordie Howe and the images growing up playing hockey. You would see that and you would automatically think of success. In terms of, I never liked Boston anything. Boston, I felt, was too close to Pittsburgh in terms of the color scheme and the way that it looks. A lot of the Canadian teams I used to love. I like Vancouver. Give me the old school black jersey with the skate across it. Like, that's Pavel Bure era. That's what I grew up with. That's what I like to see. Let's talk about Penguins, though. Penguins jerseys. What is your favorite Penguin jersey that they've had? And let's leave alternates out. I want to ask you about that secondary. Like, what's your favorite scheme that they've run? Because they actually have run more than all the other teams.
Yeah, I know a lot of fans don't like it, but I really like the old like the triangle pigeon logo. It has a lot of different names, but it's the one without any arms, the old one. And of the jerseys they wore with that, I like the one that's like 3 stripes with like a gradient. It's kind of the same vein as the Kachina, where it's like kind of so weird and different, a little bit ugly, that I really like.
You talking about the alternate that had like the stripes on one side go around as kind of grayish?
Yeah, I think that was an away jersey or like a home jersey. It wasn't an alternate, but it looks like it should be an alternate because it's so weird. But I like that, or I don't know. That's what I like to see them go back to. But I do think if they bring back any old jersey, it'll be the Snoop Dogg diagonal.
Yes, the gin and juice jersey. I have that. That's my favorite jersey. Is the Pittsburgh. That's a sweet jersey because it had the logo on the shoulders.
Yeah.
Classic Lemieux, Yager era. When I think of the other ones that you were mentioning, I think of Peter Nedved. Marty Straka, all those guys that wore that jersey, Darius Kasparaitis. But what about the alternates that they've had? Like they have the Winter Classic Baby Blues. Remember, everyone remembers in Buffalo with the snow and Sidney Crosby scoring the shootout goal. But then they also have I don't like to think about that Winter Classic, the Capitals, where it was a darker blue. And that was when Crosby had the concussion and was out forever. What about the alternates? Which one do you like over the other one?
Well, you bring up the 2011, the dark blues, because they wore those as alternates beyond that season. And the last year they wore them because, they have, scheduled dates going into this season when they're going to wear them. The last season they actually stopped wearing them, much earlier than they're supposed to. They retired them during the season because every time they wore them, someone got a serious injury.
They're that superstitious.
Starting with Crosby's concussion. I mean, Malkin had a serious injury with them. It was literally every time they wore them. So I think no one can choose the 2011 ones because there's clearly some bad juju going on there. The 08 Winter Classic one. I love that baby blue. They wore stuff like that, their first couple years in the league. But I really like those jerseys. I don't know if they'd ever go back to a blue color scheme like that, but of the blue ones they've worn like that, I really like.
Do you like the yellow ones with the yellow lids that they wear now? I don't like the helmets. It reminds me of when the Steelers wore the bumblebees. Everyone hated them, and I've said this to my last breath. If they didn't have brown pants, it wouldn't have looked that bad.
You're right.
But it's the brown pants that make it look horrible. For me, it looks like they're wearing khakis, like State Farm insurance. But still, for me, it's okay, if they didn't have the yellow helmets, I don't think it would be as bad. It just seems too much yellow. You like them?
No, okay. So what they're wearing now, they're throwbacks to the 80s where they did wear the yellow helmets.
Hideous.
But the jerseys, they're not exact copies of the 80s. Like they're missing the triangle or something behind. I don't know. I feel if you're gonna go 80s, they gotta go full 80s. This is halfway. I'm not crazy about it. I mean, I'd like to see him scrap them for the diagonal you know what? Letang's actually a big proponent of the Snoop Dogg jerseys. He's talked about it a few times that fans ask him on Instagram, what jersey would you like to see them go back to? And he always, picks the Snoop ones. But we were just talking about minor league hockey. Are there any I don't know how closely you follow minor league hockey now, but they do a lot of crazy jerseys, one-off promo nights. So are there any, have you seen any of those that you like? Or
I mean,
I have a couple.
Anytime they go to camo, I'm come on, this is a little much. I saw pictures of the Nailers. They had a camo night, and it was one time it was a Hunter's camo with that orange outline. It didn't look horrible. The other time they went to the digital camo. I don't know. Like I said, I'm a classic jersey guy. I don't like a lot of the frills and the fancy stuff. It works for some people, just not for me.
So I love when they do those weird ones. No, I mean the camo ones. Okay, those are. Every team does those, but when you get down to the ECHL, they do really weird one. There's a SpongeBob night where one team is dressed as SpongeBob and the other team is Patrick. And I pulled out some because if they do a really crazy or fun throwback, I'll buy the game worn jersey just to have it's not I'm wearing it anywhere, but I mean the first one I have, it's not but it's the one you're wearing. It's a Thunderbirds throwback, but
classic.
one of my favorites, they did a Pirates night. Look at this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Clint Hurdle came and dropped the puck for this, but it's the numbering, it's crazy. But
it looks like a NASCAR with all the logos on it.
Well, they actually did do a NASCAR night in Wheeling one night where they did have more logos like that. But my favorite one, they did a 90s night.
Oh, that's awesome.
And this is another one where it's so ugly it's good.
That is pretty sweet.
It's
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
They had Alfonso Ribeiro, Carlton he came and dropped the puck for this game. So yeah, I love anytime they wear something like this crazy, I'm like, okay, I gotta buy that. And just to have it.
You're making my hometown look really desperate.
They've done like Duck Dynasty nights, which like getting brought a Duck Dynasty guy out sometimes, and I think that's probably when they were wearing the Cambo hunting jerseys that you're talking about.
Probably. But you know what this means? It means that we just need to get hockey back. We're talking about minor league jerseys for crying out loud. Hopefully the next time we're on, we'll be talking about real hockey. Thanks for watching.